All right. Happy Halloween, everybody, and welcome to Success Zone. Hope you enjoyed the Michael Jackson video Thriller. I think we've all probably seen that 1,000 times, right? And some of our businesses look like those zombies, right? Like The Walking Dead. Anyway, um, anyway, for those people that maybe don't know, we do Success Zone every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And today we're going to talk about is, your roadmap to success and, and greatness. And, there's certain principles that everybody follows when they go out there and start taking their journey towards success. And I think it starts with what we talked about on Monday. It's that initial excitement, right? It's the initial excitement that gets you in, and it's easy to get in. The hard part is, right, having your plan, having your roadmap. And it really starts with, preparation. And a lot of people fail in this step. They just think, okay, I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to do some very simple things, which of course is the start, right? Is to follow your company system. But I'm talking about you mentally preparing that you're in this to do it. You're not in this to see if it works, because so many people, okay, whenever you initially talk to somebody, one of the things I've always heard in 26 years is, well, when it starts working for me, I will then be able to tell other people. And really, right, it's the opposite. Okay, you have to prove it to yourself that it works. And the only way to do that is to prepare for the battle that you're going to go through, to prepare through all the obstacles. And we're going to talk about that. And then once you're prepared, like I said, every company has their execution. And usually the execution is simply sharing with people what you got. And as you bring on new people, this is where I think this business gets fun. This is what Lisa and I would always miss if we stopped doing and stopped being in multi-level marketing. And that's the teamwork. It's the camaraderie. It's what you're building, right? It's changing people's lives for the better. Okay, if someone takes their journey, regardless of the financial outcome, I do believe, okay, they are well prepared for whatever else they're going to go into. I really do, because of the personal development, because of what you learn in this industry. But once you have a team, now you could take your foot off the pedal a little bit, right? And you could start to really focus in on motivation, keeping the team motivated and keeping the team moving forward. You never take your eye off the recruiting ball, ever. But it's not as intense. But the number one thing that people have to do is prepare. And this is your roadmap to success. So I think a lot of people fail in the first step. So it starts with what? What are the goals? Most people go into an opportunity, right, with maybe a thought. And here is probably the thought. Man, I want to make X amount of money. Or I want to become financially independent. But that's not what this says. You know what it says? That I must achieve. Not what I hope to achieve. It's what I must achieve. Okay, you've heard me, a lot of you say this over and over again. The reason why most people aren't successful is they don't have to make it work. Right? It's what it is. Your bills are being covered. This is a hobby, and that's okay. Just make sure you tell yourself that. Because if you're looking at what's happening in your business, it's usually a direct reflection of what has to work. It's amazing. That's why this says that I must achieve. You see where must is underlined? In other words, something is going to hurt if I don't achieve this goal. a bill is not going to get paid, right? You got to put pressure on yourself because that's how we work. We work under pressure. We go to work every day because of the fear of what? Losing our position, losing our job. Are my goals achievable? Talked to somebody the other day. Okay, a lot of you know that we're starting a brand new opportunity that we're going to be bringing into the marketplace. And I said to the person, you know, what do you want to achieve? And the person says, I want to become financially independent. I want to make $1 million. I said, okay, it's a great initial goal. He says, but I want to do that in 3 months. Okay, now, is that achievable? Well, if you put any numbers, if you put an obscene amount of numbers into a comp plan, right? Your comp plan pays out 10%, let's say, in residual income. Well, I guess if you put $10 million into the comp plan, it would pay out $1 million, right? I said, but is that attainable? Is that achievable? Probably not. A lot of people have unrealistic expectations based on what they're willing to do. Am I challenging myself with these goals? Okay, now this could go either way. Okay, well, what does that even mean? Well, unless you've gone through the journey, right, and you understand what it really takes. And I didn't know this. I didn't know this for 3 years. For the first 2 years, I wasn't even really involved. The third year, I was trying to find my groove. Right? I was trying to figure out what did I have to do to earn X amount of money. I never figured that out until I put my calendar together. And I figured out very quickly, back in the old days, when you were doing live meetings 4 times a day, how many meetings I had to do to earn X amount of money. For Lisa and I to maintain an income, okay, of minimally $25,000 a month, okay, I had a calendar. I knew I had to do a 10, a 2, a 4, and a 7 5 days a week. See, I knew, but until I got my groove, until I figured it out, it was just wishful thinking. And that's how most people run their network marketing business. Well, I sponsored so-and-so. Okay, and if so-and-so does this, I can make X. Okay, well, what if so-and-so doesn't do that? Who do you think it relies on? See, if you have to achieve a goal, in the beginning, the must comes from you. You can't rely on a group because you don't have a consistent group to rely on. The person pushing the snowball up the hill is us. So every goal you set is you based on personal production, not on your team. Are my steps towards these goals measurable? Okay, in other words, all the things that we talk about, how many meetings do we have to do? How many videos do I have to get out? How many Facebook posts do I have to make? How many LinkedIn contacts do I have to touch? Right? There's a science to it. There really is. And people say, well, it's just running numbers. Yes, it's just running numbers. And you've got to do it for a consistent period of time. But then, can I actually see myself achieving these goals? One thing to say it, one thing to believe it. And the belief comes from once you prove it to yourself, once. I mean, how many people on this call have actually sat down with a person, think about it, okay, and went through the program and got that person to make a decision? Once you do that, okay, there's no fault if you have it. Okay, once you do that, it's amazing what starts to happen to your belief system. But the big thing that correlates with the must is this. Will achieving my goals negatively affect me? Will affect my circumstances? See, this is when we finally arrived in the industry, when it had to work, when we burnt the boat. It's amazing how creative you get when you have to make something work and there was nothing else to rely on. Whew, man, you get creative. It's amazing the things that you do, and it's amazing what you figure out. Because the fear of going back to the known was greater than the unknown. Where before I understood this industry, the unknown scared me to death. But I finally got to the point where the known scared me to death. You guys follow me? I knew what I was getting at Bally's. And that's what kept me there. But once I knew the possibilities over here, what I knew about Bally's scared me more than the unknown of going all in here. It was crazy. It just switched on me. Man, I don't want to be back there. And that's when the figure it out attitude came in. And guys, oh my gosh, there's many things we had to figure out. There was numerous things we were juggling, right? It's amazing how creative you get. But when you believe in something, it doesn't matter. Now it's just what? It's just the journey now. And we had to learn to breathe through the journey. Breathe through all the challenges. Breathe through all the changes that we had no control over. That was the toughest breath. Right? We're always trying to figure out, okay, what we had to do to make something work. And man, we got really, really good at understanding, okay, the process. And it didn't happen overnight. So the preparation, okay, I've always considered myself to be just average talent. This is Will Smith. And what I have is a ridiculous, insane obsessiveness for practice and preparation. Okay, practice and preparation. In other words, a work ethic. So when you're preparing, remember I said a lot of people, this is the step that they miss? Sitting down and going, okay, I got to put together my plan. What resources are available to me to assist me? Well, in this industry, many resources. In every company, there's a resource library. There's a back office, right? There's videos, there's scripts, there's training. It's available to you. Do you know where they're located? What do I have to do to use the resources? How much time do I have to prepare? Now, here's one thing about being prepared. Okay, and I've said this a lot. I rather ready, fire, aim versus ready, aim, fire. Now, Jeff, that's a contradiction to what you're talking about. My point is, there's so many resources that are proven that you don't have to think. See, when we were putting together, okay, our plan for our new company, we want to make sure we have 3 steps. In other words, if I bring in a new person, I want that new person to say, very simply, after a presentation, I can do that. I don't want them to say, I have to prepare to do that, or I have to learn to do that, or I have to go back to school to do that. No, this is a business of doing fast. And when you do something fast, you get a fast result. When you get a fast result, it builds your belief. So you got to have a program. Now, being prepared is for the journey you're going to take. Preparing yourself for the ridicule. Preparing yourself, okay, for all the naysayers, for the dream stealers. That's what most people aren't prepared for. You don't have to prepare, right, to make a list and send a video. right? You don't have to prepare for that. That's just doing. Being prepared is understanding the personal development journey you're going to go through and how you're really going to challenge yourself. And when you challenge yourself, okay, now you really understand, okay, what you're made of. And when you challenge yourself long enough, nothing can faze you anymore. I've told all of you, you guys know this now, and a lot of you now are bulletproof. You can't be fazed anymore. What could possibly be thrown your way that maybe you haven't experienced? Well, for me, it's nothing. What could possibly be thrown my way that I haven't experienced? So I'm prepared. That's what we're talking about here. It's not preparing, right, to follow 3 steps. That's easy. And this was the number one thing I never understood. When my first mentor kept saying, Jeff, once you know that you know, it's over. And when other people know that you know, you have arrived. I never got it. It's probably year 4 when it finally hit me. See how slow I was? I didn't know what he kept talking about. I kept thinking, he's just giving me this riddle. When you know that you know that you know, and other people know that you know, it's over. You're rich. I go, what does that even mean? But then I found out what it meant. That you can't be fazed. There's no chink in your armor. And no matter what you're learning here transfers. So this is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about preparing yourself to know all the ingredients of your product. You know the concept of your product or all the nuances to the comp plan. I told you on Monday, the best way to learn your comp plan is to make $1. Just make $1. I promise you, you'll figure it out where it came from. You go, oh, I understand what that check matching thing is now because you earned it. Who cares if you understand it if you never earned it? I never got that. Okay, motivation. The motivation. Do you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe? Eric Thomas. Okay, now the motivation, a lot of you have heard this, but maybe this is the time you need to hear it. This goes back to the must. Remember, I must make this. Okay, I must make X amount of money or something's going to give. I'm going to feel a little pain. I'm going to have to go through my figure it out attitude. If I didn't make enough money to cover this. Ever gone through that in your life? You had to figure something out because there wasn't enough money coming in? How did you do it? How did you wake up the next morning? How did you go on in life? No, it was an obstacle, right? You figured it out. Isn't it amazing how things just all of a sudden just work out? We make things so dramatic. No, okay. What are we going to do? Let's stop. Let's breathe. We got to figure this out. Well, the one thing you got to figure out is your why. This goes back to your desire, your burning desire. Why are these goals? Why is it you're doing what you're doing? Why is it you're in this craziness called multi-level marketing? Why? Because you understand this is insane. You do know that, right? You do know we're different. You do know that most people are not going to accept this journey. Why are we doing it? You gotta look into it. You gotta figure that out. Why? I've answered that many times. Okay, I understand I could tap into my potential here. I understand, that you can make more in a month than you can make in a year. And I understand that most people are where they are because they don't know about our industry or they've never experienced it. I mean, really experienced it. Well, I would never do multi-level. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever done it? Oh, no, not me, but my mom's sister's girlfriend's son did it, and I know he failed. Well, I know this crazy couple, Jeff and Lisa, who've done it for 26 years. Okay? And I know they've been doing it for a long period of time. They've been with 5 companies. Okay. Did they get any results? You got to ask the questions. What do you know about network marketing? Tell me about your experience. See, I got to find my motivation. And let me ask you a question. What would make you stop? A lot of you went through something that would make most people stop and even question the opportunity. But why didn't you? Why didn't you? Because you know it was just part of the journey, right? And when times are tough and things get tough, what will keep me in? What will keep me moving forward? The only thing is your why. It's the only thing that ever keeps you going forward. That's the only thing that ever will make you keep thinking. And when you understand your long-term motivation, right? We always talk about it. It starts with your desire. And I was going to do that training. Okay, the desire is in your heart, right? We all know that. And that desire can never waver because you know that you know that what you're doing. So find your why, guys. Write it down. Short-term goals, long-term goals, right? Your long-term goals is what you want. Your short-term goals is your must. Your short-term goals is your must. And most people don't get past the short term to achieve the long term. You know what they want to do? They want to achieve the long term. You know what that's called? Winning the lottery. That's what that's called. That's all it is. I'm going to win the lottery because I'm not willing to do, right, brick by brick and going through all the failures. But that is the journey. That's the business. That's the struggles are what you will always remember. A lot of you, the struggle you're going through right now, you'll never forget. But you got to understand the dollar amount attached to that struggle. What does that mean? You know what that struggle is worth for you to help other people through their struggles into the future? That's the teamwork. Execution. When once a decision is reached and execution is the order of the day, dismiss absolutely all responsibility and care about the outcome. Great advice. Probably the best advice. I'm never married to the answer. I'm not married to the yes or no. I'm married to the execution. Because that's the only thing I could control. See, we think we could control people's decisions. We could influence their decisions. We could influence their decisions. We could get them to think about their situation, right? So they're open to change. Because if people don't realize the situation they're in and it's never going to change, why would they? So I got to help them see their situation. How? Okay? Through my story. But then once I do those necessary things, I'm not married to their yes or no. Because I know that has nothing to do with me. I came into their life to share with them what I have. It's up to them to accept it. I am prepared not only to begin well, right? But I'm prepared to end well. Okay, whatever happens today does not have any bearing on where I'm going unless I make a decision to quit. It's the only thing that could stop anybody is quitting. Has something ever hurt so much in anything in your life that you want to quit? Okay, I could think of a lot of things, but it didn't make a difference. Well, what are your you know how you're driving down the highway and you see the milestone markers? Right? If I'm going from here back to LA, I know it's 274 miles, and I know my milestone markers. And based on that, I know how close I am to my destination. Well, do you have your milestone markers for your business? This goes back to what I was talking about before, execution. I knew my milestone markers were my meetings. My milestone markers were the number of people I had to talk to get them on a webinar, to get them to have a three-way call, to get them to do and make a decision. I knew what they were. This goes back, like I said, to the execution. I will treat all obstacles as a means to the end. Love that. Oh, that was supposed to be there. I was supposed to blow up here. That was supposed to happen. If I don't execute, what negative impact will it have in my life? Okay, talked about this already. What happens if this doesn't work in 30 days? In 60 days? In 90 days? This is why it's so important to determine what you're willing to commit to based on your situation. So important. Because you can't hold yourself accountable to a full-time income, right? If you can't put in full-time into the business. Don't do that to yourself. Just determine, like when Lisa said in the beginning, I want to make $1,000 a month. I must cover the grocery bill. That was her goal. I want to have personal empowerment. My girls were 4 and 1. I didn't want to take time away. So she committed to Tuesdays and Saturdays. Okay, those were the 2 meeting days. The rest of the time she committed to conference calls because there was no cell phones. Okay, when she got started, there was no three-way calls. There was no Zoom meetings. Not three-way calls, Zoom meetings. Everything was phone. And she had her commitment. But at the end of the commitment, she wanted to make $1,000. Okay? That quickly went by the wayside. Why? Because she made $1,500 her first month. So then she stretched her goal. And she said, okay, well, if I could cover the grocery bill in 1 month, Jeff, let me take care of the car payment next month and the grocery bill. After 6 months, she was making $5,000 a month. After 6 months, which was covering the car payment, both car payments and the mortgage. You see what happened? She started to, then all of a sudden, you think she was working 2 hours a week then? No. 4 hours a week? No. Now it became more of a business to her. See, it was based on what she knew she had to do. And once she knew what she had to do, she wanted to do more of it. And then she started to build a team. And she started to set their goals. And what she figured out very quickly was, wow, the more people I get making money, the more money I make. Do you think she really understood that at the meeting? No. All she heard at the meeting was, go out there and give this stuff away and have fun. That's all she heard. But then once she sponsored her first 5 people and they put them on a business plan to do what she did, guess how she made $5,000? She helped 5 people make $1,000. That's how she made $5,000. See, those were the milestones. How can being consistent? How can be consistent and complete what it is I have to set out to achieve? Okay, whoever wrote this. Okay, here's the point. Okay, I know without a doubt that the decision that all of us have made in this industry called network marketing. I know without a doubt it has to start with you. I was always looking for the person that was going to build it for me. Always. Everybody that I talked to was going to be so good. And so every time I sponsored people, I stopped doing the necessary things because I found a person. What I didn't realize was I had to sponsor a lot of people to get traction. And that's called your initial launch into the business. So when you look at your business, how many of you have ever built a team that you knew were just as committed as you? Now, this may step on some people's toes. Most people will always build a team based on their sponsor's commitment. And that's good news and in a lot of cases, bad news. See, when I finally sold out, guess what? People saw that. And I became the example for them to be okay to sell out also. You follow me? They saw our commitment. They saw our calendar. They saw our schedule. They saw everything. They go, wow. And we became the example for them. But it is true that you could succeed best and quickest by helping others to succeed. But what this doesn't tell you is the first person you have to prove it to is yourself. They say, you know what? I could bring somebody in, literally, I could bring somebody in, and if they're teachable, I could actually guide them to success. You know how powerful that is? When someone calls you up and goes, Jeff, it worked. Or after a three-way call, thank you. I got that person in. There's nothing more powerful than that. When that person knows that their guide is committed. See, even though my goals may be as an individual achievement, I'm a social creature. I need people and people need me. That's our business. Our business is very, very social. People are not resources. People are teammates. A lot of people look at other people with dollar signs in their eyes. And people sense that about you. They see your desperation. Okay, I'm not looking for people's initial money. That's called immediate income. I'm looking for a teammate. In the beginning, you're looking at people as, okay, if I bring this person in, man, I'm going to make X amount of money. You got to look past that. This is where you'll sit down with a person, you'll interview them, right? You'll figure out what you got. You'll figure out what you sponsored. You'll figure out their desire. You have their goals. They're not just a resource to get you some immediate income. I'm looking to lock arms. I want to make sure I like the person. Very hard for me to hide my feelings. A lot of you guys know that about me. It's just all over my face, okay? And that's something I have to work on. But I really want to be able to work with the people. I want to like them. How can I use what I'm doing to help others plan, motivate themselves, execute their plan, and achieve success? This is the step that a lot of people don't do. It's the step of getting to know your prospect, getting to know the person you just sponsored, right? Going through, if you have a welcome letter, a get started training, that I promise you, if you have one, I guarantee it, in there somewhere says to the person, what is your commitment? What are you looking to accomplish, Alicia? What do you want out of this? This would be before I even have her make her list. Why are you doing this? Well, Jeff, and you know what? During that little time, you know how many tears were shed? because you're asking about what they want, and all of a sudden, here comes all the stuff. Here comes the emotion. This is when you start to build that trust. Jeff, I have to make $2,000. Okay, this happened. My husband's not making the kind of money he used to make, right? I don't want to go back to work and work for $13 an hour. I'm better than that, but I have a desire. I need to make $2,000. You know how I'd rather have that person than the person saying, I want to make $1 million in 6 months. Because I found their desire. Now they sit down. Now you show them. You go, okay, man, that is a very realistic goal, Alicia. What are you willing to do to get it? What are you willing to do? What's your commitment level? You're not working, right? No, and I'll go through it with her. But you got kids. So if you're taking your kids to school, this gives you your time to do your business, right? Yes. Well, what is that time frame? Well, 11 to 2. Okay. You see what you're doing? You're walking through. You're getting her to see it. Now, you got to show her what to do between 11 and 2. Now here comes your list. Now here comes your system. Alicia, we're going to have a grand opening for you. We could do it online, or you have a beautiful home here. Are you willing to open up your home so we could do a grand opening? So we could get some initial excitement surrounding your business? Yeah, I think my husband would be okay with that. Okay, let's figure out the night. And let's start inviting to your grand opening. And I'm going to be here to support you. You see, you're getting her to see it. We're going to get some initial excitement. That's helping them seeing their success. And they know they have somebody that's going to be holding their hand. That's teamwork. It starts with sitting down and getting their goals, showing them what a launch is. It's not just, hey, here's my link, sign up. I'm sending you a welcome letter. Good luck. Just follow the system. Now, obviously, once again, not contradicting myself, but I could get people moving, but I want to be able to, within 24 to 48 hours, really sit down with the person and figure out what they want. Because I know a lot of it's online now. Now, what if Alicia was in a different city? Okay, can I not do a Zoom meeting and do the same thing? Sure, I could. We could look at each other's eyes now. So this is how you build team. And remember this one. Whatever you do for your new people, they will always remember, and that's what they'll duplicate. I've seen many people that are just good recruiters, but they'll recruit enough to make some money, and then they're on to the next gig. They've never really built a team. They've never put together a system. They go from company to company to company to company, and they just recruit an initial group so they can make some. That's not building a business. See, there's one thing I will say, okay? The way we were brought into this industry really was the right way. It wasn't bringing over people and with big teams. We built it from the ground up. It was planting a seed, nourishing it, watering it, and watching it grow. Planting a seed, watering it, that one didn't grow. Uh-oh. Better plant another one. And Lisa planted a lot of seeds, and then a lot of them, right, blossomed. And we had deep roots. We had residual income. Why? Because of how she brought people into the business. How can we help each other to be successful? I must mentor and have a mentor. I don't know everything, but someone else knows what I don't know. Align yourself, right, with leadership. And you know what? You can have a mentor from afar, right? It doesn't have to be your personal sponsor, right? It could be somebody that you trust in that's going to give you the right advice. Now, here's a good mentor, one that will tell you when you're not doing the right things. It's not always the right things. Good job, Alicia. Great job. Oh, high five, Alicia. See, that's easy. The hard one is, hey, Alicia, what happened? Let's go through last month. Okay, let's look back at what you didn't do. Those are the tough conversations. But to do that, they have to be open for that. Because I'm not her boss. No one's your boss. So you gotta bring a mentor in. And then you always need to mentor and just give people the right advice. Now you understand more what I talked about here, the must. Once you figure out the must and what you do equals the must. In other words, you know what has to be done for you to have your must goal. Now you could be a good mentor. Now you could, because you proved it to yourself, I now could with confidence tell people what to do. And then here comes success. It's not the position from which you are standing, it's which direction are you going? Do I see myself as being successful? I know that sounds stupid, but do you? And if you do, what does it look like? Do you have a vision board? I notice a lot of people roll their eyes at that. There's nothing more powerful than it. Just see it every day. Because if your lifestyle doesn't show you it now, you got to show it to yourself. What does it mean to be successful? Failure is never final until you have no more days in which you can fix what you broke or didn't achieve. That's why that little hiccup, and that's why I call it a little hiccup that a lot of us went through, no bearing on me, was a hiccup. It's barely a burp. Okay? Didn't matter to me. Why? Because I'm not dead yet. That's why. Tomorrow's another day. So that's such an afterthought now. Are you guys still dwelling on it? Let me ask you that. Or was it an afterthought? Okay, I don't even remember it now. Oh, Jeff, you're so cold. No, Jeff's not cold. Jeff understands his journey. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you are doing, you will be successful. Do you love this? Or do you think you love it? I love it. Can't help it. Can't help it. That's why I always say, okay, once you get a taste of this, you can't do anything else. That's a warning. But I want you to taste it. Once I have achieved my success, what happens then? What's next? Man, I was taught this. There's always a different level of leadership. Never ends. I kept thinking I've arrived. He goes, no, there's another level. I go, when does it end? Never ends. That's the good news. I mean, why does Bill Gates still work? I mean, whatever you think about our president, I mean, why the hell is he doing this? Are you kidding me? Why? He's a billionaire. Do you see his schedule? I mean, he's going to be in 12 cities in the next 6 days. Why? Can't turn it off. Can't turn it off. Look at any successful person. Are they retired? No, there's no retirement. It's just what's next. It's what's next. Risk more than others think is safe. Care more than others think is wise. Dream more than others think is practical. Expect more than others think is possible. This is our industry. This makes you different. This is what makes you different. But what people have to understand is, and this goes back to your plan, there's 86,400 seconds in each day. Biggest problem, biggest objection you will get is time. Remember what I just did with Alicia? Remember my new person? I have to sit down with her and show her that I care enough about her to execute and put together her plan. So when I sit down with her and I get her to commit to time, then she can't use time as an objection, right? Because I get her to see it. I got to get her to understand that she has to devote her time, effort, and energy into something. We just have to find it. Remember I said, what time do your kids go to school? And your husband's at work. Is this the time? And she tells me yes. So then I I just found 4 hours. Now, how many days a week can we do that? Well, literally, minimally 3, there's 12 hours. Follow me? But if I just say you just do it, no. It's amazing how those hours get eaten up doing nothing. So how are you going to use them? I pledge to prioritize my own vitality and well-being by addressing the source of my stress, caring for my body, nurturing my connections, and creating the conditions for a mindful, fulfilling life. Pretty much says it all. Take care of you so you could take care of others. Remember, you get on the plane, okay, what do they say? In case of emergency, the oxygen mask is going to drop down. Who are you going to help first? What do they say? Put it on you first so you can then help the other person. We're trying to give the oxygen to everybody else, and you're dying. That's the problem. No. Stop here. First, I got to get right. And when I'm right, everything else is right. It's amazing how that works. So, who's dressing up for Halloween? I think we're going to dress up. We always do. We dress up and we scare the kids. We hide in the trees, okay? And people think we're crazy, but then we chase the kids down the street. So, anyway, guys, happy Halloween. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you guys Friday. Thank you. Bye.